Hello guys, today we're gonna have a look at some tips and tricks about curves and other objects. So we will model this up. We will make that effect using Blender, which is a gears effect. I really like that effect, and you will also learn it's pretty easy using constants, and you will get the knowledge about how to use constants using Blender. And we will do some magic with curves also. So follow along because there is some cool stuff you can do with curve. And this effect is pretty easy. It's just in 2 clicks, but it seems to be complex pipe system, and you can even go crazy over that. But I will just show you the simple, tools that you can do these effects. So now let's begin the video. Okay, so here we are in the Blender default scene. So hit X to delete and get rid of this cube and hit Shift A. So first we will model the first model that I showed you in the beginning of the video. So now search for a grid. Let me just, okay, here we go. Why were you not using plan? Because plan is not been subdivided from the beginning. So it's perfectly subdivided for our need. So we don't want to select these edge faces. We just want to select the center faces, so hit C, or you can also hit B for box select, something like this. And now, what you need to do, you need to hit Control B and then V to poke that faces, something like this. So make sure to add the specific value that I'm adding, which is 0.1, and yeah, and now we just need to hit I to insert those faces. It's really up to you how large are the holes you want in that grid. So I just want those, holes, and hit X to delete the selected faces. Hit A to select all, and then hit E to extrude these on Z-axis. Well, everything looks flat because we haven't added a subdivision surface modifier yet. So subdivision surface, and here we go. Hit tab, and now let's add some loop cuts. So hit Control R, one loop cut here, and another one down here. Well, you can play around with the details. You can increase these, and you can also shade smooth or shadow the smooth to make the edges crispier. By the way, the effect is done, and yeah, you can customize according to your needs. So the first effect is done. Let's just grab this into side. Let's begin with the second one, which was the curves. Well, we have 3 magics that can be performed with curves, and you might don't know about them because they are really hidden from you. So Shift A. Well, before doing anything, come to Edit, Preferences, and come to Add-ons. Okay, because you need an add-on for that one. It's pre-installed within Blender, but it is not, enabled. You need to manually enable these add-ons to add extra objects. So let's search for code. Okay, so here we go. We have so many add-ons. Make sure to add this add curve extra objects. Okay, and you can also turn on another if you want. Now save preferences and close this window. So now Shift A. So first we will make the wiring effect. You can do it. You can do it for pipe. From plumbing. So add one object. Shift D into X to duplicate it. I'm just showing you that how you can link 2 objects using those curves. Select both of those objects by hitting Shift, and then come to Add Curve, and then scroll down into Nuts and select this last option. I don't know how to pronounce it well because my English is not that good. So let's just hit this. Well, you might get something else because I have changed some settings. You might get something looks, let me just wet. Let me just change the settings. You might get something looks like this. Okay, you might get something, but you can do so many changes with this. You can change this the curvature in this, which is this A effect. You can just decrease and increase this. You can increase the resolution for some better result. Increase the radius, bevel radius, to make it like a pipe, and you can also extrude it on one side to look like this. I don't know what shape is it. You can randomize it, the scale of it, and you can change all of those settings. You can tilt it something like this if you wish. Okay, so that is the second effect. Well, let's jump right into the third effect. Let's just grab this up to here. And now let's just duplicate this cube because we're gonna use that one by hitting Shift D. Okay, so to duplicate. Okay, so now come to add curve and then scroll down to nuts where we have used this last option. Now it's time for bounce spline. Here we go. You might get something else which is just looks like a curve. Because I have changed settings, you might get something looks like this. You know, you can get something looks like this. Here is the bounces to add some more curve into that. If you want it to be detailed, you can just play around with the angular noise to add some, curvature into these, and you can just scale and scale down accordingly. And there's some extra setting. You can also randomize those settings, and to add thickness into these, you can increase the bevel radius to show it like a pipe. But if you want to show this, you can just increase the resolution to make it look better. But if you don't want to feel like a pipe or wires, you can just increase the extrusion to feel like peppers or pieces of clothes or something. You can just play around with the settings according to your niche. Okay, so the third effect is done. Now let's jump right into the fourth effect. So hit Shift D into X to do the fourth effect on this cube. Well, it's the same like this, but having some different settings. Select this cube, hit add, and then the curve, knots, and then this spiral feet effect, I think. Yeah, you might get something not looking like this because I have changed settings again. I totally forgot the setting. Okay, you might get something like this or what? Let me just offset. Okay, you can change the setting. You might get something else, but playing around with those settings you will be able to get this result. Okay, something like these, or you can play around with the offset to make it scale big or scale small. You might get something looks like this. Okay, but you can change the settings. Waves, wave intensity, something like this. And yeah, I really love this effect because it's totally customizable. The best thing that you can also animate from here. If I just extend these, let's try animation if we can. Let's just hit I. Oh shit, don't animate this. Really bad. That's really sad. I said it can be animated because I had never checked it. Sorry for that. Okay. So we have done this 4 effect. Now it's time for this gears effect, which I showed you in the beginning of the video. How to do that? It's pretty easy. Just move along with the tutorial to learn how to do that. So let's just first add some gears into the scene. Well, in order to add gears, we can just model them up, but I don't want to take your time or to waste your time by modeling them because they're pretty easy to make, and I know you can also model them. So that is why we have gears here, and you can also add. But if you don't have them in your ad, you can just come to Edit, Preferences, and then search for Mesh. There are different settings you can turn on: anti-landscape, Archimesh, bold factory. You have to turn on the extra objects, and that's it. Yeah, you will be able to add the gears into your scene. So now let's hide all of them because this effect is like a little bit complicated for beginners. So now mesh, add gears. Here's 2 options: gear and worm. Well, worm is used to make this effect, but we're not gonna go too in depth with this. We're just gonna use gears for the sake of tutorial. Gears and gear. Here we go. Okay, some free gears, without thinking about modeling it, taking your time. So now let's begin the effect. So in order to make this effect, let's just go to the z-axis. So now hit Shift D to duplicate it and make sure to make it to feel like this. They must not merge together, but you have to make them look like this. you know. So now come to constraints, add objects and copy rotation. Now the target object is going to be the first object, you know. So now here so many axes are selected, but we are not gonna need those axes. We just need Z axis for both invert and axis. So now you have not to change anything. You just need to align these things. Let's just try to align. As you can see, this is made for 2. Now you can add infinity numbers of gears. How? Let me just explain. So now hit Shift D to grab it here, something like this. Instead of selecting the target object to these, you have to select this object. So now, if I rotate this one, all of the 3 will be rotated. And you can add infinity number of gears. You can hit Shift D, add another one. We have to just remove the previous target, add a new one, which is the previous object. You can add another one. It's just to infinity. Just a simple rule. There's no rocket science. You just need to remove the previous target and add the alternate object with this object. Just align it better so they're not intersect. As you can see, we made this effect. It's really up to you how you use this effect, how you make this effect, for what you make this effect, but it's pretty, good. And what you need to do, add a copy rotation, select the first object that you added. Make sure to not add any constant in the first object. Make sure to add the constant. And you have to start the constant chain from the second object. And the target object is going to be the first object. And then this is going to be the second object, which we have selected the first gear. And then for the third object, we have selected the second gear. And for the fourth object, we have selected the third gear. And for the fifth object, we have selected the fourth gear. Okay, that's it. This really easy. And yeah, the other thing that you have to do for this constant, you just need to select Z axis, because we don't want to copy other axes, something like this. We just want to copy Z axis. Okay, that's why I have selected ZZ. Okay guys, so that was for today. If you want to get more like that, you can hit subscribe and like this video. Make sure to share this with your friends and feel free to comment if you have any queries. Thanks for watching.